This is the goal, Africa. My this is the goal, Africa. Africa. This is the goal, Africa. This is the goal, Africa. Africa. Wambaland, the goal, Africa. Wambaland, the goal, Africa.
It's yet another beautiful day at the Goal House. The housemates are already up and running for their morning drills and aerobics. After the morning drills, some of the housemates engaged in friendly games at the arena. But only one particular game caught the eye. A competitive table tennis match between Oge with the E and the Prof. Amazingly, Oge with the E gave the Prof a run for his money.
I am sorry.
Don't forget to you get.
I'm not forgetting. I just gave her the life, I swear. When you come now saying you don't get good.
Later in the day, the housemates were divided into 4 new groups: Team Nigeria, Team Senegal, Team Cameroon, and Team Ghana. Now let the games begin. Who will emerge the winner in this intense game of cards? Each team representative is expected to match 4 exact shapes in the cards before the rival does.
With someone else, all right? With another representative until it goes round the 6th representative. The team that will be awarded 100 points is Team Nigeria.
Bribed for independence. That's the truth. We are supposed to be highly nurtured by the colonial master, by the foreign men, before giving the world to Nigeria, before handing over to us. If that is done properly, I tell you, we will not have corrupt mind. Now, if we are fought for independence, and let's say we have some foreign men guiding us on leadership style, still pampering us, still leading us, still assisting us, not totally handing over Nigeria to us to lead. It will be better. Take a look at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo. These are men that led with the principles of the foreign men.
Yes.
And in their time, things were working well. They were leaders. They were youth like us. 35, 36, 40. That's the highest age they were when they led. Why? Because they had the leadings of those colonial masters with them. When they made mistake, they were corrected. But when we gave room for the foreign men to go, finally, Nigeria blood came in place, and tribalism and ethnicity come to play. That is why the problem is.
But do you know that? Do you know that we can actually change so many things?
It's something we can tackle.
If we love ourselves.
That is it.
See,
Do you know
The
that?
question is,
Not with
how
this
can the love come?
Who's that?
Okay.
Start with yourself, self-love. Now let's talk about from our religions.
We can actually do it.
Corruption. It started from our religious gathering.
yeah.
When we gather, our social, when we hang out, if we can take care of that, I am telling you, that government, that people like you and me,
We start by loving ourselves.
now let's start with politics. Do you know the politics?
China was not is worse.
Yes.
But now look at China.
Do you know there are
You cannot even
politics
write the China man.
even in church and the mosque.
Corruption.
Now there was this thing that happened
Try
in
to
church
get
there.
where
This position
this
for
corruption
men
originates.
Now there was this woman that she has the money.
Different
oil.
models to corruption.
started
that
buying
give
red
birth to
oil,
corruption. This is
groundnut
one is
oil,
hunger.
maggi, salt, and she was sharing
One
the crop
is-
with all the women. So they started calling her sugar mama automatically. Now they came for the election, blah 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 blah. All the women were supporting her. The board of elders had to come, say they are cancelling the election. Why are you automatically making her sugar mama? Because of the red oil and the maggi.
That's
And everything.
corruption.
See, if you can tackle that, it's a corruption, it's an individual thing. If you can take care of it, you can take care of it.
That is
We can
the
take care of it. If we see any sign of corruption, we say, we throw it out.
That is the mindset.
Aside that,
It's our mindset.
we have to love ourselves.
The gold champions.
It is time for the task of the evening, an interesting presentation on the topic, how does sports and football affect one's physical and mental health? Indeed, the housemates came up with interesting submissions. Let's take a listen.
Football and sports. How it affects the mental and physical state of a human.
Good evening, everybody. I am Ogenewoki Agati, and I am here to drop a little thing I've written down about how sports affects, how sport and football affects one's mental and physical health. I'll be coming from two different angles. I'll be coming from the supporter angle or the individual angle, and I'll be coming from the footballer angle as well. Here I've written down football or sport generally comes with lots of emotions, and thus the way we feel, act and react are all embedded in the mental phase of sport. The way we think and the way we react, I feel, are all parts of the mental side of sport, and one does not have to be a professional before engaging in sport. You know, one does not have to be a professional before you engage in sport. Sometimes you go to the hospital, you go to the therapy and those places, and they be like, you need sport to do this, you need sport to loosen up, you need sport to do this and that. So I feel mentally these are the way sport affects people. You know, sometimes you watch match and you're not like the one playing, but when a goal comes up and the way you celebrate, it's a reaction from how the team has gone up. So you're just representing what you see. So that's one aspect of how sport affects us mentally. And physically is the other side I gave, when a doctor or somebody, a professional, will tell you, you need sport, you need to jog a little, you need to do this and do that to keep fit and all. So that's that.
How does sports, especially football, affect one's mental and physical health? So what comes to our mind when we hear sports? We all know that sports is a recreational activity. And why do we do recreational activity? Is to help ourselves out of one or two. And psychologists will always tell you that when you meet them and they ask you why you not happy, then again they throw you another question. What do you like doing at your spare time? So when you say you like playing football or you like watching ball, they'll tell you do it more often. Like to take away your mind from whatever it is that is bothering you. Then when we are talking about something that affects. It could be positive and it could be negative. So basically this night I'll be touching both the positive and the negative aspect. So what comes to your mind when we hear football, sporting activities? What do you do? The positive aspect, I feel football helps. Football, for those of us that watches football from the viewer angle, it helps you to relax yourself from stress. Maybe after a long day work, you could see lovers of football. I could remember when Super Eagles made it to I think it was semi-finals they made it to. Most of us, even though you know how Lagos is, there's always hold up, but that eagerness, that joy we get that relaxes our me personally, I watched that match on the hold up on Lagos Island mainland bridge. There's normally this billboard there. Though I was stressed out and dressed for them, but I was happy because I was able to watch the match. So from a viewer point of view, sporting football watching could actually take away your stress. It could ease your stress at that particular time. Another thing, we all know that football, for those of you that play football, is a game of motion. It's always on motion, and it requires you to make accurate decisions. That you could hear sometimes when we watch, you say, this player made accurate passes. It helps you to make quick decisions, and once you are doing that, you're exercising your mental ability.
Hey guys, I present to you Everest Ogechukwu Cynthia, otherwise known as Oge with a double E. After physical health comes the mental health, which brings depression, low self-esteem, and demoralization. Everest was considered the star player of her team, indeed full of life, energy, and skills. She has been of great performance in her team. There came a unity cup of her community, which meant a lot to her. It's an opportunity for her to show her skills, an opportunity for her to sell herself, an opportunity to show the world what she got. Few days to the match, she sustained an injury which lasted over 10 months. You see, she couldn't play the match because it was few days to the match. Some players that she was better off was replaced. They replaced those players with her. Knowing that she's better off those players, she felt bad, but just because she couldn't recover from the injury, the match went on, and those players were used, and they performed excellently, and then they replaced her. By the time she recovered from the injury, she wasn't seen as the top player anymore, not the star player anymore. Rather, she's just there in the team, but not as a regular player. Imagine what happened to her. Depression, low self-esteem, demoralization. Let me talk about depression. She thought of where she would have been and the things she would have gained if she had played that match. She almost ended her life. Low self-esteem. Her worth and values were depreciated. She no longer sees herself as the best player. She was demoralized. Her worth and values were depreciated. After the matches, the players that took her place were promoted, and that boosted their profile. Everest, seeing all those many benefits that she could have been enjoying after her recovery, those players were placed ahead of her, and what happens to her mental health? Like I said, she almost killed herself. The spark for football was gone. She no longer sees herself. The mental health was affected and tampered with. She doesn't even believe herself anymore. This is what sports and football does to one's mental health. But I have something to cheer you up with. Do not stop believing in yourself. Do not give up. When you fail, when you fall, rise up and start all over. Who knows, there might be an opportunity, a greater opportunity at that.
Study and research have actually shown that what the brain can easily memorize, rethink, and recall is of 70% of what we see. And 20% is what we read about. So, and we know that sport is virtually what we see and what we read. So it means sport generally is 100% of what the brain can actually memorize and think of. Now the brain and the heart are connected in such a way that they don't work in isolation. They work together. And doing that, sport itself is a game that actually enhances one's emotional potent and intelligent potent. So, I want to dwell on the positive aspects and negative aspects of sport affecting one's mental and physical health. Of a truth, educationists have come to realize that there is no form of learning that could be made possible without sport inclusive. That is why you go around, you see that there's no school entirely that you find in our generation these days, there is no sporting facility. Why? Because sport itself has a very long way of enhancing one's thinking, memorizing, alertness, ability of the brain. And doing that, we are saying that education is made complete with sport. Give me a student that you may be referring to him or her as the dullest in the class. Then I'll tell you that put that student in the field of play. He will show the expertise, the smartness, the alertness, the potential he has in him. It only depends what will trigger the intelligence of that person, which is the sport. There is no man on earth that is born without potential, without intelligent person. It depends on the usage of this intelligence. So sport is one of those things that will actually enhance one's intelligence. Now, we're talking about the negative aspect of sports. How does it affect negatively? Just imagine that you have something to impact your world. You have the skills, you have the technicality, we have the alertness, you have the readiness, you have everything possible for you to display. And there is no room for you to do that, perhaps because of injuries. It will go a long way in demoralizing you. It will go a long way in depressing you. It will go a long way in giving you low self-esteem, because we have this thing in you, but yet injury has given you no room for you to display all you have. Take a look at Peter Cech. Take a look at Francis Uzo. These are men well known, globally recognized as best world goalkeeper. But injury has brought them down beneath because of sports. So sports generally have a negative aspect and have a positive aspect.
Hi guys, I'm Jennifer Ezekiel, aka Amosita, and today I'll be talking about how sports affect our mental and physical health. I'll be relating sports to body shaming. Talking about body shaming, what are the questions we ask? 1. What is it that drives us to judge others by their body type? 2. What about when we judge others in our own minds? Perhaps it breaks down to our desire to be superior to others, or rather, to make us feel better about our own shortcomings. You know, the fact remains that many of us judge others for things that do not directly affect us. I'll start with the first one, which is the athletic body shaming. This is not quite a bodybuilder, but someone who still had decent physique. Generally, men do not get shamed for having an athletic body. They are most often praised for it. Women, on the other hand, really get negative comments on having an athletic body type. Women like Asisat Oshola, Desire or Paranoze,
Serena Williams of America, who have been body shamed and it has affected their physical, emotional, and mental health. We often offend them by saying things like, ew, this lady looks like a man. 2, there is nothing attractive about a chick who looks like she can lift more than one. I want to be with a woman who looks like a woman, not a man. Instead of defending them by saying things like, she works hard just like everyone else. She is living how she wants to live. She doesn't care about what you think. She's trying to make a difference in her own unique way. And let's not forget the saying that says, do to others what we want them to do to you.
I'm Edmond Okwanipo. Football and sport in the 20th and 21st century has rapidly evolved beyond recreational activity, beyond entertainment, beyond an ordinary sport. Football and sport presently is a language we all speak. Football and sport presently is medicinal for health. Football and sport presently is a value system that has been set up to generate income for as many that follows it. Here, I'll be buttressing on the question, how does sport and football affect our mental and physical state? I'll be considering 3 factors: the players, the fans, and the administrators. These 3 categories, if we are going to look deep into them, we'll be able to see that in one way or the other, football and sport has a major role to play in their life, positively and negatively. As a fan or as a player, what do you stand to benefit? How do I channel the energy of sports in bettering my life, my physical state and my mental state? Firstly, let's start with the football player. Yes, it is a known fact that injury is inevitable as a football player or as a sportsman. But that should not take away the fact that every exercises that you engage yourself in as a sportsman or a football player keeps your physical state, gives you fitness, and keeps you in top condition. As a football player, you need to understand that every tactical dictates that you receive from your coach helps your mental state, improves and gives you more desire to go into details. Your intelligence is improved as a sportsman. Your physical condition is improved as a sportsman. Then, considering the welfare and the money that you stand to generate as a football man, you all will agree with me that you cannot take away the role finances or money plays in the life of a man. When a man has money, it gives him confidence. It builds your self-esteem. You are bold to enter any congregation and speak, and you will be held. Also, as a football fan, there are so many things you stand to benefit. You all will agree with me that the fans of any sporting activity stands to be educated, entertained, and to generate income. And how do they stand to benefit from this? Entertainment. Every sportsman or sports fan stand to be entertained when when their team performs or gives a good fight in every game that is played. And you understand that when your team performs very well, joy is being transmitted to your well-being. And you know what joy is? A man that lacks joy has no strength to achieve anything in life. Strength. is gotten as a result of joy inside of you. And football and sport gives you that. Football and sports gives you the ability, educates you as a football fan. How? You've seen how the tactics that is being employed by your team. You've seen the tactics that is being employed by your opposition team. This alone educates you and improves how you think and how you reason. Your team performance motivates you for every day, for every week, for every month. This alone helps you to achieve more in your daily endeavors. Also, as a football fan, the exercises that is being engaged by your team, these exercises, you take them back to your house, you engage them, and guess what? Your physical well-being is being improved. Your hips, your shoulder parts, your chest, and many other parts in your body, you are being relieved of stress when you engage in some sporting activities. And also, not forgetting the income that you stand to generate as a football fan.
Hello everyone, my name is Momo Daniel, but you can call me Modern. Today I'll be discussing a very important topic. How football and sports affect our mental and physical wellness. Now, talking about mental and physical wellness, it's all talk about how strong and how capable you can be as an individual. I'll be talking about the advantages and disadvantages based on my personal experience. Growing up as a child in the primary school, I love football so much, but so unfortunate, I couldn't do much in football because I sustained injury and my team left me behind. So I felt so depressed at that point. I felt so left out at that particular point that I couldn't go up with the football again, coupled with some other parental factors that time will not allow me to say. And today, I can boldly tell you that even not as a football fans, I do other things like the aerobics and even the yoga, and this has really helped me a lot. That does not mean that I left football. I'm still a fan of football, and trust me, everything has been going on fine based on the aerobics and the food and the yoga I joined myself with. Now I want to tell you that I had this experience I have series of experience whenever I do my yoga activities and also my aerobics. I feel that my system are well relaxed, stretching my hands, doing all kinds of exercise helps improve my mental wellness. I have this inner joy when I see my body in the kind of shape I want, working with confidence, meeting people, networking and socializing. Now this improves my level at which I think and reason with people around my community. Now, talking about the football has a way of also enhancing our personal relationship with fans out there. Now, whenever a player gets to score a goal, you see everybody excited. Now, the excitement comes as a result of an inner joy, building their intellect and building everything that makes them fit for their day-to-day activities. Their day-to-day activities. So exercise or sport as a whole has really done more good than harm in the life of everybody that participates in it, and it has saved a lot of people in the community out there from body shaming and from weakness, stress, and even heart failures or one disease or the other. Once again, my name is Momo Daniel, but you can call me Moga. Thank you.
Sports can be defined as any physical, mental or psychological activities that activate and put our well-being in perfect condition or shape, and also serve as means of livelihood for those who choose them as careers. Sports, since it's an activity, is subdivided into two different forms: physical sport and mental sports. When it comes to activities in physical sports, include football, basketball, handball, boxing, wrestling, etc. Activities in mental sports include football, trivia, chess, drafts, jokers, pokers, etc. For example, how does chess as a sport affect one's mental health? Chess has been an ancient game used by kings and queens to conquer territories during war. Chess help you to be mentally active in forecasting the plans of your enemies because you put them on check and their movement. You know when to attack and when to pipe low. Because of football, the sports betting online gaming came into action. It is mentally tasking to study different things, their strengths and weaknesses, formation, styles of play, and formations, different types of things, their strengths and weakness, formation, styles of play, best players, and the positioning. If you are mentally sound in forecasting football matches, I bet you millions of Nigerians are making fortunes out of betting.
I want to use myself as an example. So I was born as a child supporting Manchester United. So as the die-hard Manchester United supporter, I'm the type that I don't like Manchester United to lose any single match. So each time Manchester United lose, it affects me a lot. The fact that at that particular moment, I find it difficult to control myself. It hurt me a lot. Even in my view center, at that moment, I would just disconnect a lot of things out of anger. So I could still recall in 2011 when we played the Champions League final match against the FC Barcelona, because Barcelona beat Manchester in 2009 final, then still we beat the same thing 2011, and that affected me a lot. I could not even sleep throughout that night, and each time we lose match, I always find it difficult to eat, to even sleep. Throughout that night, it would be emotional to me.
Football has always been in my mind since I was a boy, a child. I loved football, to go out to play football with friends. But the fact that parents never liked us playing football, we felt it was actually a bad thing. Growing up as a child, each time Super Eagles is mentioned, people will be like, they'll win them. They'll win them. And I never liked it. That was actually affecting me. I was not liking it. Every time the Super Eagles are to play a match, I want them to win. But most of the times I get disappointed. And I checked. I found out that there are some things that actually maybe actually not put in place for them to actually win matches. But that is by the way. How football affects one's mentally, and how it affects them physically is dependent on how they actually take it. As a footballer, physically, when you do your workouts, your trainings, and you actually want what you are actually on. That is, you love football. It helps you. It builds your physique. Brings out everything that your body is supposed to actually develop. Develops your body physically. Makes you look good actually.
It is no secret that sporting activities and exercise generally helps individuals to relieve stress and relax. When you regularly engage in exercise and sporting activities, it helps your physical condition to be okay and also boost your mental alertness and focus. Speaking of sports, when you play sporting activities like football and basketball, amongst others, you cannot perform well without a focused mind and a quick mental ability, because this sport requires you to think always. You have to think always in order to be able to perform well on the football pitch or on the basketball court. Now, when you don't engage in sporting activities, it increases your chances of being susceptible to diseases, and also it also affects your self-esteem. But when you engage in exercises regularly, it boosts your self-esteem and also increases the body's ability to fight against diseases.
Let me cite myself an example. I happen to be a basketballer, since from my secondary school to my higher institution. I stopped playing basketball when I had a leg injury. That was in my second year in university. I broke my leg, which affected me seriously. And now, the only sport I know I do very well is swimming. Basketball, I can only go there and watch how they do that. Then, football, yeah. I remember the day we went for our picnic in Millennium Park. I was very weak because when I was sleeping in the hostel when they called us, we are going out for our picnic, this, that. I said, okay. Going there, I was just sitting down, cheering the people up. But when we played our own football, our own match, that's the girls, coming back to the house, I felt relief and I was very happy playing that game. Every morning we came up here for our aerobic classes and it felt very, very good. I came to this house with a very big hip, so but because of the exercise now, everything has. So I really want to say that the sports and the exercise has really helped me a lot. The mentally part of it is I have a friend that plays football in Europe. Yeah. Normally, when we used to charge, the only complaint he does give me is racist. That affects him mentally.
I want to speak on somebody like Joseph Dosu, one of our greatest goalkeepers during the Japan 93 Dream Team. After the success of the Atlanta 96, he came back home. And on his way going to his hometown, he had an accident. And after that accident, he broke his spinal cord. And that was the end of his career. He was depressed, and until this day, he stopped playing football. That affected him mentally. I still want to speak on another player in terms of injury, Gabriel Cisse of France. This was a very, very good player on the pitch, but injury cut his career short. When he broke his leg, he couldn't even play for his national team.
In football, before any player is selected to play, we have the psychologist, the physiotherapist, and all other health officials who now assess the player to know if the player is physically fit or the player is mentally fit to play such football.
What's it called? Personal or family issue. It has its own negativity and positivity. When you have a personal or family issue, yes, it's negative. Probably someone died, or you have a breakup, a divorce in your own relationship. You all know it can cause negativity in the players' performances on the pitch and all that as well. And probably if it's a positive news for you in your family, probably your wife gave birth or probably something like that. Yes, it cheers up the player to play better on the pitch. That's for family and personal issue. And then the team or club you support, whenever your club loses or wins, it affects you mentally and physically. Probably, yes, because you might be happy, and when you are happy, you give a lot of joy to your heart, and this heart had a lot of connection with your brain here, so it connects.
We have a lot of persons, a lot of people, a lot of humans that at the age of 40, not even 50, they cannot perform, they cannot satisfy their wives because of waist pain, this, they cannot stretch it. But a lot of old people living happily in their marriages because they exercise. When you go on the road in the morning, you see them exercising, wearing their sports wears, exercising themselves. You see them, they exercise themselves, they cannot get down easily, they are very strong.
When we talk about the mental health of a footballer, to me, what comes to mind is depression or criticism from fans. Now, lots of players, they face backlashes from fans because of their performance. And such backlashes can make a player lose his form or lose her form on the pitch. Now, we also have depression. I'll give an example. We all know Mason Greenwood. He plays for Manchester United. Now, Mason Greenwood has a friend who together they went on a trial. Mason Greenwood went for Manchester United. His friend went for Manchester City. Now, Mason Greenwood, as we all know now, got successful, but his friend wasn't, because his friend got kicked out of the academy due to not being able to reach up to the expectations of the club. Now, leaving the club, he was just 17 years old and he committed suicide due to depression. This also affected Mrs. Greenwood's performance for like few games. I'll give you another example. We all know the Brazilian legend Adriano. Everyone knew about his left foot. His left foot was like immense. It had this enough shot power. But then Adriano's career was cut short because once he lost his dad, he wasn't able to get that form he once had. And after that, he went into drinking. And until now, he's still trying to get out of that.
In the case of Dimitri Payet, 2018, was in a good form, thinking about going into the World Cup finals with France. But all of a sudden, he had an injury that was replaced by another player. Initially, he was supposed to be among the World Cup winning squad of France. But that affects him mentally, and he was emotionally depressed and injured for a long time. And that deprived him of the chance of winning the World Cup with France. And I don't think he can ever do that again with his country. And in the case of Mwamba of Sporting against Tottenham in 2013, in the FA Cup semi-final, Mwamba collapsed in the field of play, and all the players in the field were emotionally down, mentally ill. Both him himself, till today, he couldn't play football again.
Fans can cheer you up when they believe in you, but bring you down when they have no belief in you. Tribalism. This can happen between the players during training or dressing room. Truly, football unites, but it takes a lion-heart man to overcome this. Let's call it spade a spade.
Fans watching football. I remember maybe in my center, whenever people are watching football, you see people teasing each other. This one, I'm not sure say una go win this game. You know why? You are making the person down. And at the end of the day, when the person loses, the person goes down truly, and it became, maybe it's something that the person will not be able to keep to himself that day again. Like me, whenever I watch my game and I lose, Chelsea, maybe whenever Chelsea lose, my sister will be telling people, please don't talk to her. The way she is now, you talk to her, she can fight you. Because she knows that since my team lost, it has brought me down. And it affects me. At times I will not be able to eat. Except I ate before I entered the viewing center. But once I don't eat and I come out of the match, I am not able to eat again.
Football, actually, it acts as a rejuvenating therapy. What I mean, it acts as a rejuvenating therapy. If you check out most persons who actually engage in football activities like sports, who actually play football, they look young, they look fresh, they look younger than their ages. Let's take, for example, Ibrahimovic. He's actually 37, 38, but when you look at him, it looks like he looks younger than his age. Let's talk about Ruben. He's about 37, yet he looks very fit, he looks young, he looks fresh. Why? Because he consistently plays football. So the more football you play, the more sporting activities you actually engage, it makes you look younger than your age.
This is Naji Abigail from Ebony State. The question is, how does sports and football affect one's mental health? First of all, we all know that sports have the negative side and the positive side. Recently, I engaged myself in some sporting activities to improve my physical and mental health. Issues related to sport like fat stomach, stress in the arms can be resolved when one is engaged in doing sport like sit-up, jogging. It's improving the health. It's improved in helping you to achieve your physical health. Let's use for instance, imagine a young player got injured during a football training sector and he was not given a proper medical attention, which hindered him from playing a tournament that could be a lifetime opportunity for him. He will be depressed because it could have helped him, but because they didn't take care of him and he was not given the medication he was supposed to take, he has to miss that opportunity. With this, you all can see that sports and football can affect our mental and physical health.
What happened? What happened? Oh, yeah, tell me how it started.
You were your mom.
Me? My siblings, sometimes they will beat me. If my mother just leave, they start beating me. Because when I start talking, I start from how it started. Whether like 10 years ago, I start from A, B, C, D. From the beginning to the end.
My own child.
Because
I don't know. If you're one person, maybe my friend, I'm okay with it. I will know this person, me, and I can ride for you anywhere. Anywhere, anything, I feel fight for you, I feel do anything for you. I don't like fake love. I don't know why. I don't like fake love. Where I'm coming from, we don't show ourselves fake love. Whatever love we display is genuine.
So I didn't address the situation. Everybody don't any other around even look at yes. I which one? Do they have any issue? You see
This is the goal Africa. My this is the goal Africa. This is the goal Africa. This is the goal Africa. Wonderland, the goal Africa. This is 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 the goal.